Welcome everyone, beautiful people. I'm introducing myself and Luisa, Andrea at the moment, and we just want to speak a little bit about the offerings that we have running in Egypt. So myself and Luisa have created transformational retreats for women and also for mixed groups in Luxor since a couple of years now, and we've been running, we're going into the 5th round this time around, and yeah, they've been transformational journeys for our groups where we guide them through the ancient mysteries and the ancient mystery teachings of Egypt, through the temples and through transformational practices where we combine the mythology and the energy of the places with inner work for transformation. And actually this year we have a very special and unique addition to our offerings that we just want to touch upon today. So yeah, Luisa, would you like to share a little bit about what we've created for this year?
Yes, thank you, Sophia. So we have created for this year a very special addition to our signature retreat. So this is an offering designed to support teenagers. It's our Amenti Teen Rites of Passage retreat. We will be running this alongside our women's signature retreat. So it's an opportunity for mothers to come together to Luxor in Egypt with their teenagers, both to enjoy and be nourished by a retreat that runs simultaneously with separate day programs, and with the opportunity for the mothers and the teenagers to come back together in the evenings for an overnight stay in a gorgeous villa. And so that is the very bare basics of what we're offering. The retreat's going to be in November the 22nd until the 29th. In order to support this idea, I mean, the reason the idea was birthed was to help support Sophia and I in supporting my son. I'm a mother of a teenager. And historically, during our retreats, I've needed to create provision for him while we've been running them so that we can effectively hold space and feel really, really present with the ladies that we hold in our retreat. It's worked well, but I really felt like I wanted something more for him. Sophia is such a supporter in this process as well. It's been such a fantastic journey to have her alongside, like co-parenting with me actually during these times. So I'm super grateful for this. But yeah, we wanted something that was going to really nourish him on another level. And I'd been looking for rites of passage since he was 11. He's now 13. And I wasn't really finding anything that was going to be suited to his needs in the way that he needed it. And so this is kind of what birthed the idea. And we reached out to a wonderful lady that we know in Luxor, who we're going to introduce to you now. And Tony is such a powerhouse. Tony, we are so grateful for you and your presence in this whole creative process. And I really want to open up the floor for you here to just let us know what it was about this idea that initially inspired you to want to be part of it, and a little bit about your background and what it is that your skill set that enabled you to step in and kind of take hold of this and develop this program in the way that you have.
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much to you and Sophia for holding this beautiful space. And I am super, super happy to be sharing this co-creation with you. So yeah, I've been inspired to create these kinds of spaces for teenagers for a long time. I was working as a performing artist in Australia, and for the last 5 or 6 years of that, then I was focusing more on education and co-creating performance type spaces with teenagers. So the idea to be able to generate spaces for a retreat type setting or for an intensive type setting has been something that's kind of been in the background of my mind for a long time. So then when I met you lovely ladies here and found out about the work that you were doing here, that's when I made the suggestion that, if you ever need any programs to support children and teenagers, then maybe that could help you to include mothers into the programs. So initially I was feeling that potentially more of a circus or performance arts-based program, because that's more of what I've done in the past. But a lot of that equipment simply isn't available here now. And so then my attention went more to the fact that you are creating such transformational type experiences for the parents. Maybe we could do something similar for the kids. In the West, I've always felt that, a rite of passage is something that I really wish that we had. I feel as becoming adults is such a tumultuous time, and we never really know when to step into that. And I just feel like it could be such a huge potential for growth and opening with teenagers, and especially happening alongside the opening growth type situations that the parents will be in as well. And so just the idea of turning that into a ritual coming of age performance type piece, it just kind of was a natural flow. I feel like, it just kind of came up and said, okay, you need to make this thing now. So that's how that kind of came to be. As far as my experience goes, well, probably the most important piece of the puzzle is I was a teenager. And and as a teenager, I really, really struggled. And I just felt there was no support in place. I was incredibly bullied and ostracized and too smart and too stupid and too ugly and just too everything. And I felt like there was no space to really be seen. And so as an adult, I spent 10 years working as a performing artist, and during most of that time was also running workshops. And I felt that, more important than the time on stage was actually the time just working one-on-one with people in interactive performance and things like that. And the deepest, most poignant moments, the most incredible bits of medicine came from simply seeing somebody, and just the sheer power in that was really phenomenal. So I was creating a lot of circus intensives, doing active after school care, medieval education. I also spent a lot of time balancing that with more healing work, shamanic dreaming and dance therapy, movement work. So I was kind of balancing the creative and wellness kind of aspects. And so I feel like those are kind of culminating in this offering that is unfolding right now.
Thank you, Choni. Yeah, the whole skill set and experience that you bring is just incredible. And yeah, to be honest, I'm so amazed about what came out of this. We didn't see it ourselves either in the beginning, but what came out of this, I just feel like it's so rich, also for these teenagers that can join, and like working together and alongside with Luisa, being a mother that grows or mothers her children in such an inspirational way to me, and being able to be part of creating an opportunity for these teenagers to have this experience just feels incredible. I feel so grateful that this is what came out of it. So would you like to share a little bit more about the program, how it's going to look like during that week, Choni?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd just like to just touch a little bit more on the foundation of it, and just to share a quick story. Actually, when I was teaching circus, we were working in a remote area of Central Australia with Aboriginal children, and these kids were almost catatonic. They were glassy-eyed. They were teenagers, but they had like snot coming out of their nose. Like they just were not in their body at all. They'd been incredibly traumatized, and I had no idea what to do with them. And I started handing out circus equipment and just smiling and looking at each one of them in the eyes. And within 5 minutes, this whole group of about 15 teenagers who just had no idea where they were suddenly like in their bodies, spinning sticks, going, Tony, look at this, look at this, look at this. And I was trying to look at them, but I was also trying to hide my tears because it was just such an incredible transformation. So I feel like that's important because, you know, that's just the simple medicine of simply giving pure attention. And so, you know, really the intention is to be able to give teens a space where they can be fully seen exactly where they are, to be met where they are, so that they have the space, the safe space to be able to meet themselves, to meet their fears, to meet the parts of them that they would really like to express, and to be supported by each other so that they can fully embody that. So as for how that's going to actually roll out, I really like the idea of bringing the creative and wellness tools in and then combining those to create a kind of ritual space. So some of the tools I see us using are like hip hop dance and hip hop music and beatboxing and rapping and, you know, and spoken word, like all of those kinds of things where people can really come in at whatever level of skill and openness that they kind of feel comfortable with. So I'd really like to explore all of those different ways of expression and use those combined with storytelling and creating our own personal myth, which is based on the Joseph Campbell hero's journey, which is a nice, succinct little way to package things together so that we can map out our life journeys together, find those different creative tools that feel appropriate to express that. And so then each person has their own voice within the performance piece, as well as generating like cohesive parts where we all come together. And so I can sort of really see and feel that we hold each other through movement, through rhythm, through dance, and then each person can have their voice, and not everybody is going to be confident enough to be able to speak it, although I hope that by the end we can create enough of a safe container that they will. I'd like to invite people to push against their edges and to challenge themselves, but not to the point of not feeling safe, you know. So it's about growth and expansion, not about being pushed beyond people's limits. And so, you know, part of the time we'll have a lot of sharing space, because I feel like that's really important, just so everybody understands where each other is at any time, and really giving some attention to listening and communicating, which, you know, then carries out into the rest of the world, being able to listen to themselves, having the space to listen to themselves, understanding triggers and wants and needs and desires, and having appropriate ways to be able to communicate that. I think that's a skill that is not taught nearly enough. And then, you know, spending time learning new skills, but then more of the time actually creating with them and co-creating with it. So there'll be some time for solo journeying as well as a lot of time for collaborative journey. So that's how I'm kind of seeing it playing out.
So I can feel my inner teen while you're speaking, like, I want to do this. I want to be part of this, because, yeah, it really speaks to that part of that inner teen in me. Like, I can feel how much a provision like this would have really been so beneficial to me at that age. And so, yeah, you're amazing. All of this sounds really incredible, and we're incredibly blessed to have you on board and bringing these ideas into the container with us. It's incredible. And like Sophia touched on, like, we had no idea at the beginning of our conversations how this was going to manifest, but everything that you've brought into this has just like created this incredible opportunity for these teens and the mothers to step into. And I remember, I think really important that you touched on the medicine of being seen. And I really feel like you have many gifts and talents, but one of the things that I've really noticed is your ability to do that, actually. And even in our initial conversations where I was talking to you about my son and who he is and his likes and his character, you really brought to that container in our conversation this focus. I felt so seen as his mother, and it felt like you really saw him through my reflection as well. So yeah, this is, I think, really important to just highlight that that's such a powerful and yet simple tool, simple medicine, but yet really impacts. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I've got to say, I don't feel like I created any of this. I'm just the messenger. It's like the retreat just kind of created itself out of, just whatever the earth and the space and the container and the kids need right now. So I'm feeling very blessed to be able to co-create with you all.
Sophia and I know this from our retreats, the other retreats, and creating the container. It's like it does kind of create itself. And this has felt just like our other retreats and other things that I'm sure you've offered before, like when it's meant to be birthed, it really does just happen. And that you find the team and the people. Sometimes you need to be a little bit open-minded about how it all unfolds, but I mean, I've got goosebumps as I'm saying this. Like, it's like you say, it just erupts from creation through us, and yeah, it's just been a magical experience so far.
Yeah, it's almost like once you put in the seed, the universe just comes and goes, okay, well, let's carry this together. It really does.
As Louisa is mentioning, it also then just it brings the people together, and everyone brings their medicine and their gifts, and from that unfolds this whole thing that you couldn't imagine in the beginning. And that's definitely also what we want to, I think, from both the programs is also something we really want to bring with this experience for both the mothers as well as the teenagers, is also to have that experience of being so aligned and being so plugged in, and to receive these seeds of inspiration and this guidance. And I think something we really want to offer through both of the programs, that we really see happening as well in our containers when we work with the groups. So could you also maybe touch in, Joni, a little bit about, you've already spoken about it actually, about how this really addresses to the needs of teenagers, like the need of being seen and of like understanding who we are becoming, and like changing from being a child into a teenager, and understanding maybe starting to understand more of how the world works and how overwhelming that can be, and all of these things. And also, of course, then there's the other side that also for mothers that I can imagine is something quite big to navigate and keep navigating, also working with these changes that are happening in the children, and how do you relate to that as a mother, as you have your own path as well, and as you are changing and evolving. And so, we really want this to be an experience that is really beneficial for both, for addressing needs of mothers and also needs of teenagers, and also the beauty of having that experience simultaneously in Egypt at the same time, and then coming together after a day of amazing experiences, and then being able to share that with your teenager or with your mother, which is of course also incredibly bonding.
Well, to start with the teenagers, to me, one of the most important things is that, when we're at school, we're told that we're expected to know what we want, what we're going to do when we grow up. What kind of job, as if that's the entire definition of what we are. What little cog in the machine are we going to be? I really feel that the most important thing is to know who we are. We're so surrounded by information and opinion and emotion, and if we're not connected to ourselves, it's very difficult to know which parts of us are us and which parts of us are simply other reflections that we're holding onto. So that creates a lot of confusion. And so that's one of the most important things I feel, to enable teens to have the opportunity to really connect with themselves, strip away all of the layers, learn how to use a critical mind to really explore the different aspects of themselves, and to figure out exactly where everything's coming from, so that they can get to really what is the deepest soul calling, like who are they really at the bottom, outside all of the ego and outside all of the external masks that they put on or have to put on. Because then it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter what job they do. The most important part is that it's an expression of themselves. And so that the how they do anything is far more important than what they do. And the other aspect is really critical thinking, because we're in such a state of misinformation and indoctrination. Kids are really just taught to comply without thought. And, you know, so that's another aspect, I think, of really helping them to understand who they are, to learning how to respectfully question anything that comes in order to discern if something is true for them or not. And in order for all of that to happen, they do have to be seen, because otherwise, you know, they're told by society that, you know, just stay over in that box. You're still a child. We expect you to have responsibility, but we expect you to stay in that box and do what you're told. It's completely confusing. Having those tools for self-awareness, to be able to help moderate their own emotions as well, to be able to understand their own emotions, and to have mindfulness tools to understand how nutrition is affecting them. You know, there's so many different aspects that are affecting them, and they're just not given any of those kind of wisdom. And then by having the creative tools, then they have, you know, more tools that they can take with them and use at any time whenever they need to express or generate out of anger or fear or joy or excitement. You know, just the more creative tools they've got, the more they're able to excel in life, because those creative tools aren't just for art, they are for critical thinking. Then coming over to the parents of the teens, well, I really feel that if the teens are having a transformational experience as well, it will just give them a lovely kind of parallel, you know, that they're both having these kind of transformational journeys, so that they can, you know, they have something to reflect on with each other. For the mums, I think it's important for them to know that this is a safely held container where teenagers are respected, and respect is also expected from them in return. And making sure that we've got a technology policy, so, you know, so we're not going to have kids hanging out on their phones for 5 hours a day looking at TikTok. So this really is a present and integrated experience. Also through this, I see that, you know, being able to generate better listening and communication skills, that's something that carries with them when they get home. And also learning more about themselves, learning more about personal boundaries, how to respect their own boundaries, how to respect other people's boundaries. Again, that's the kind of skills that, you know, should then translate back into the home. So that's just some of the ways that I see that this will actually be, hopefully creating some ease for all of the beautiful parents out there too.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think, the safety of the container is something that's super important for all of us, and it's been a consideration when putting this together. And we feel, again, how it's all come together with the right people and the supportive team, inclusive of Hannah and Vicky, who we will introduce as we move forward. But it's so imperative for the safety, for transformation to happen. So yeah, really grateful for that. I think I want to just, in addition to what you've said there, which is all incredible, but from a mother's perspective, you know, I'm right in that with my teenager. I've done it once. One of them's 19, and I'm now in this process again with a very different process, actually, because each child is very different. So I can't really apply the same blueprint to the second one as I did the first one. And different things in me are being triggered along this process. And that, I think, is important for mothers to be aware of as well, that as we take our young people through the teenage years, it's often our inner teen that is being triggered in the process. And so if we have unresolved teen issues inside us, they will often manifest in these ways as we go through this. And our teens are, you know, reflecting to us those parts of ourselves that potentially have some unresolved or unmet and unseen emotions still trapped in the body. And so I think the women's retreat and the way that we run that container and work through in that container, it gives an opportunity for whatever it might be that's triggered, and also potentially those inner teen issues to come up to be seen as well. And so I think it feels, from an energetic perspective, you know, feeding into it, that there is something incredibly potentially potent here, like you say, that will really be such a huge transformational experience for the family unit, not just the teams. And, you know, breaking cycles, generational cycles is possible when we hold these kinds of spaces for people. So, yeah, I mean, it's all to be known, but I'm incredibly excited to see what that yields, you know, what comes from all of this. So, yeah, again, thank you. It's incredible.
My pleasure, and thank you so much. And, you know, that idea that you make the plan and then you just throw it up to the wind, I just trust in these processes, and I've learned to trust them, that, you know, even when they might feel and appear completely chaotic, they're always in perfect balance, and they will just make themselves if we just turn up.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all these beautiful insights and for taking us with you on seeing how the journey will unfold. We would also, as mentioned, we have a supportive team as well, which is also amazing, and we're so deeply grateful for their presence alongside the program that Joni is running with everything that she just shared. We also have our beautiful Hannah and Vicky joining in the team, and they will be there present all the times when basically there's no program with Joni, and when the mothers and the women are still in their daily program. So at the times in the mornings with waking up and having breakfast and getting to the hub where the program with Joni runs, and also afterwards the chill time and the evenings will be also guided by Hannah and Vicky. So we would also love to introduce you both. Yeah, just to hear a little bit about you, who you are, and some about your experience and how you're looking at this program as well. We would love to hear you.
First of all, I just want to say, so it's really inspiring and fascinating to listen to you talk. And so not having a rite of passage myself in my own childhood, my teenage years, it was a really difficult time. So I'm very excited and inspired to be involved in supporting this team retreat. And it feels like such a unique opportunity for teams to be able to develop and grow and to be guided on their life journey. I've lived in Luxor for nearly 4 years. A lot of my background is working in social care with adults and children. So I've done that for 35 years. I'm a trainer and assessor for adult qualifications, and that is really important to me. It really sort of aligns with my own values and about promoting and empowering social care staff to truly connect with the values and principles of well-being, their own personal and professional development, because they're working with some of the most complex and vulnerable people in society, and it's such an important job. And you have to be really aware, really have a vision and know where you're going and what the purpose and the aim of that is, above and beyond the knowledge, the technical knowledge that you need. So that's, for me, what I really get out of that. I've also got a background in holistic well-being principles, so things like aromatherapy, massage, bodywork and self-development. I've also supported children in a creative environment, so things like circus skills, carnival costume making and performance. I think this is such an opportunity for teenagers, and I'm also a specialist. I've got a qualification in a technique called intensive interaction. It's about inclusive communication, and it's all about creating a safe space for people to connect with their feelings, their emotions, and really creating a mindful connection with themselves and with others, which I feel is such an important part of our life journey. It's about really listening, really, really listening. And what does that mean? That's me.
Wow, that's really beautiful, Vicky. Also a rich background you're bringing with you and that you'll be sharing with the teams. Thank you so much. I love it.
Yeah, me too. Like your skill set really lends itself to what's developing here. And I love the level of awareness that you have, that I know you have from conversations we've had as well, and that you're bringing that into the team. You're very much a unique and treasured member of this group. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate you.
And you're really great at making things fun.
Yeah, I want to come and hang out with you, Vicky. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, let's have some fun.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
First and
Fun
foremost.
included.
Yes.
Actually, I think that's an important thing to also mention about the retreat, is that we do want this to feel like a light and fun experience for the teenagers, as opposed to like a heavy transformational retreat where we're taking them into the depths of their darkness. We want to make sure there's that balance and that it's joyful, actually, because I think, for me, I'd much rather learn through joy.
I kind of forgot that bit. But yes, there will be lots of laughter and fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, life is serious enough and hard enough.
Yes.
And, often in life we have really hard lessons that can be so difficult.
Yes.
And I think, really connecting with that joyful, fun side of it as well, you can learn so much because it makes you more open. If you feel threatened, you feel vulnerable, you feel like you're being challenged, you shut down. So it has to be fun, sure.
The same goes for the women group as well, for sure. Yeah, we bring in the laughter and the joy and the lightness as well. Definitely. So important.
Medicine, isn't it? It brings so much healing to the nervous system, and then we're conducive. We're pliable when the nervous system is in a good, healthy space. We have more capacity to open up to new things and new information. So yeah, it's a really big part of it. Thank you, Vicky, for bringing that into the again. That is also like a really good example that just naturally unfolded through this conversation of your unique expression that's coming into this space. So yeah, thank you.
And Hannah, we would love to hear you as well. You want to share yourself?
Hi, I'm Hannah, and I live in Luxor, nearby the retreat, and I've been here for like 5 years now. So I'm looking forward to just hang out with the kids, mostly in the evening, and make sure they're feeling good and happy. And in the mornings, I've done lots of workshops with kids, so I've kind of handled groups of kids before. So that's my kind of kids experience. I would also say maybe I'm kind of a kid myself. So I'm a kind of creative person by nature. So maybe I'm also kind of shy by nature sometimes. So if there's any kids in the group feeling shy, I'll be able to field their feelings, perhaps. I'm just happy to be involved, to hang out with the kids and to make sure they have a great time.
No, I want to just immediately reflect back to you that what I feel from you is this ability and sensitivity that I think is going to be such an incredible addition to this, in terms of that kind of care of the young people outside of Tony's sessions, because like your ability to notice if somebody is feeling a bit shy or awkward or uncomfortable, that's such a valuable part of what we want from you, and it's something that you just are naturally. I think it's often hard for us to see our natural gifts, and so that's why I'm sort of reflecting that back to you, because I think it's when it's so natural to us, we don't necessarily recognize it as an incredible gift, but that's a massively valuable tool that you're bringing in through yourself there. So I want to say thank you for that.
What I also feel from you is this, I don't know, this instant calm, and I don't know, like a soft calm and like a breath out and relaxation. And I feel like that's, as Louisa's mentioning as well, but it's such a valuable addition to it, because I think, that's also all of what teenagers need. Like if they've been going through all of these activities and things, they also just want to chill and relax. And I feel like, with your presence, that just feels like such a safely held, beautiful presence. So really grateful for you bringing
it's true.
that.
It's true. People do say that about me. I'm good. I'm really great in an emergency, and also quite good at keeping people on track, like on focus if they're going woo. So
So thank you so much for bringing yourself in and being part of this. Yeah, feels really wonderful.
Yeah, and Hannah, I also just want to say as well, I love that you said that you're still a kid at heart too, because I think that's super important element for the kids to have that to relate to. Someone can, like, oh, okay, now someone that's like, on our level.
No, that's super true. Also, when you were talking about the inner, so teenage issues, the unmet, I'm probably still am a teenager for some of those reasons, like in terms of transformational work. I know that's work I have to do. So that, like, that I think it's like my natural creativity, but I definitely have had like qualities, and maybe that's also trauma related. I don't know.
Sometimes trauma can create the most beautiful parts of us, right? The most beautiful aspects of us. Yeah. So I love that you're bringing that into this space. Yeah. Thank you, Hannah.
Okay, cool.
So thank you so much, ladies, all of you. Is there anything else that wants to be shared before we wrap it up?
Well, I'd just love to just reflect on both of you, Sophia and Louisa, that, this whole process between you just hold such an incredible balance of the intent and the energy and the heart space, that with incredible attention to detail and just being so switched on with the left brain as well. And it's such a relief for me, because I'm definitely not that bit. So I just want to say thank you to both of you for just holding and creating all of this in such a balanced way. It's a really gorgeous experience.
Oh, thank you so much.
Wow,
That's beautiful to hear.
So thank you so much, everyone, beautiful ladies, for this beautiful conversation and this wonderful co-creation that's happening here. And to all the listeners, if this is something that speaks to you, if you are curious and you want to know more, you can find more information on our website, which is amentirebirthretreat.com. And our Instagram, it's at amentirebirthretreat. And we will put all the links where to find us below. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us, ask any questions, and have a chat about all of this and how you would be able to join. So the dates again are 22nd November until 29th of November in Luxor in Egypt. So we would love to welcome you there.